What's going on, everyone? Today we're going to teach you about compound sets. Now you might be asking yourself, what's a compound set? Well, it's kind of like a superset, except you're going to be targeting the same muscles. So it's typically 2, sometimes 3 exercises that target the same muscle that are done back to back with no rest in between. For example, if I want to work my biceps, I'm going to do one type of a bicep exercise, another type, and then potentially a third type. So you might be asking yourself, why would I want to use compound sets? Well, for starters, it's very time efficient. Since you're working 2 exercises back to back, you can cut down your gym time by almost half. It's also very useful for breaking through plateaus if you're stuck somewhere. Whether you're doing hypertrophy training or endurance style training, changing up your routine and throwing in some compound sets is a great way to break past those plateaus.
For the compound exercises, we're still following the FIT principle. So frequency, we want to train muscles twice a week. Intensity, we're going into the 70 to 80% range of your 1 rep max. So around 8 to 12 reps. Next one is type. So the type, we're doing weightlifting, we're lifting up weights. And time, we're usually trying to train in between 30 minutes to an hour. The type of training that we're looking at today is in between a total of 16 to 24 reps. So this is more searching towards the hypertrophy into the endurance range.
So the style of training we're going to be working on today is concentric and eccentric types of movements. So for concentric, what I want you to remember is like if you're doing a bicep curl, the muscle's going to shorten. So you're going to be going up, the muscle shortens, and that's the concentric movement. The eccentric movement is when we bring it down, and that's when we elongate the muscle, and that's what we call an eccentric movement.
So no matter how hard you work, you're not going to get any result if you get a really bad injury and then you have to start training. This is why it's really important that you train safely. So whenever you walk into the gym, whenever you want to train, you have to leave your ego at the door, and you don't want to use weights that are too heavy for you. Form is always better than weight, so you want to take maybe a little lighter weight and have a better form on your exercise. So leave that ego at the door and focus on taking your time and doing those exercises safely.
Alright, so typically when you're working out, you want to start with the bigger muscle groups and make your way down to the smaller muscle groups. So today we're going to start with the back muscles. It's mostly comprised of the trapezius and latissimus dorsi. So for today's exercise, the main focus is going to be on the latter. So the first exercise that we're going to be doing are called the lat pull downs. The first thing you want to do is adjust the seat so that your knees are tucked in. The next thing you want to do is grab the bar slightly further than shoulder width apart. You're going to control it down to your chest and control it all the way back up to full extension, as you can see here. We're going to be following the lat pull downs with something called the seated cable rows. What's very important here is that you're not swinging the weight. You're really controlling it. So the weight's going to go forward, you're going to bring it back to your chest, and then you're going to bring it all the way back down, just like you see here. So for the second compound exercise that we're going to do, also really targets the latissimus dorsi. These are called the pull-ups, and they're very similar to the pull-downs, except you're going to be bringing your weight up to the bar rather than pulling the weight down to you. You can choose to either do this with your body weight or with the assisted part of the machine. Now these are also called lat pull-downs, but as you can see, they're very different from the ones we did in the first exercise. You're going to start with your hands out, grabbing a straight bar. You're going to carefully and control the weight down to about your waist level, and you're going to come back up so that your arms are almost fully extended. It's very important that you want to use a weight that you can really control here so you can activate the muscle.
For the chest, there are 2 main muscles, the pectoralis major and the pectoralis minor, which are both worked in our following compound set. The first one is the dumbbell press, and the second one is the dumbbell fly, both on a bench. You started the exercise with the weights on your knees, push them up, and get into the position. As you can see, you start with the weights all the way up, go all the way down as you're comfortable to do, and you push them up, touching the dumbbells up the top. For this compound set, you are going into flat dumbbell flies, usually with a lighter weight. Same setup, weights on your knees, push them up, and here you're trying to go as deep down as you can without feeling any discomfort. For the second compound set, we have the incline dumbbell bench press. Here we usually go with a lighter load and we try to keep our shoulders and our elbows into a tucked in position for safety purposes. The follow-up to the incline press is the push-up. Here we try to go low, touch the chest to the ground, and go all the way up, locking in the elbows. You can do this on your feet or your knees.
Now we're going to be targeting the deltoids, more commonly known as the shoulders. Now the deltoids have three different parts. You have the front, you have the middle, and you have the rear deltoids. So the exercise that we're going to be working on today is a compound set that's going to hit all three of those. The first one are the frontal raises. You're going to start with really light weights. You're going to have them right in front of you. You're going to bring the weight up, as you can see, to just your shoulder height, and then you're going to bring it back down. You want to really control the weight the entire time, and as you can see, your body's not swinging at all. You don't want to go much higher than that because you might injure yourself. Next, we have the side lateral raises. Very similar concept to the front ones, except now we're bringing the weight up to our sides and bringing it back down. Once again, controlling a weight through the entire movement. The last one we have are called rear delt raises. And as you can see, you start with a slightly bent over position. You want to bring the weight up, keeping a neutral spine the entire time, and bringing the weight back down. Once again, controlling it throughout the entire movement.
Up next, we have the tricep, which is comprised of three muscles. The lateral head, which is at the front, the long head, which is at the back, and the medial head, which is in the middle. We are trying to hit all three heads with the next 4 exercises.
The following will be a compound set consisting of 3 different exercises that will target all 3 of the heads of the tricep.
So here we can see the tricep push down. What's really important for the push down is that you want to have your elbows locked in place, your wrists also locked, and you can have your feet either spread apart or together. Also, what's very important is that when you're utilizing the weight, what you want to do is you want to use a weight that you can comfortably push down and push up in a controlled manner as to not hurt yourself. Also, the head we are working during the tricep push down is the lateral head. So now we're going to be working on the reverse grip tricep push down. We want to be working on the same concepts as before, except now we want to supinate our hands and reverse the grip when we're pushing down and pushing up. While we're pushing down and up, we want to have it in a controlled manner like always. And remember that now we are working the medial head of the tricep muscle. Finally, we're going to be working on the French press, which is another tricep exercise. What's really important for this exercise is that you don't want to use a weight that's too heavy because you're going to be putting it behind your head, and you don't want to go down towards your back too much because this can cause shoulder problems and you won't be working the tricep as much as you could be. Also, what's important is that when you're standing, you want to have a back straight and you want to have a wide stance. During this exercise, you are also working the long head of the tricep muscle.
The bicep is comprised of 2 muscles, the bicep short head and the bicep long head. First bicep exercise is a supinated bicep curl. Here, we want to have a semi-heavy weight that you can control well, and you really want to focus on keeping your elbows and your shoulders in line and locking your wrists at the same time. Next up is the hammer curl. Same principle, but instead of doing a supinated grip, we have a neutral grip.
So our next exercise is the leg raises that works on the abs. For the leg raise, you want to hold on to a bar, you want to hang off a bar about shoulder width with your hands. What you want to do, you want to lift up your legs nice and slowly, try to keep them as straight as possible. And trying to make sure you're not producing any momentum with your body, trying to work on your core and then lift your legs nice and slowly. So the next ab exercise is the ab roller. What you want to do, you want to find a little mat. You're going to get on your knees and you're going to roll the little ab roller as far as you can. You want to stretch that body like in a Superman position at the end. You're going to roll that slowly. This is a really good exercise for the ab because the abs are going to be under tension for a long time, all the way while you're spreading out and when you come